What are 4 reasons my crickets are dying? Find out in today's video. What's up guys, it's Colin. In today's video we're going to be talking all about the top 5 reasons your crickets are dying. Reason number 1, temperature. Crickets do best in an environment that's usually between 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go over this range or below this range, you're definitely going to run into issues. A common problem at home is if you place your cricket pen or your cricket container or whatever you're keeping your crickets in, if it's near an overhead vent, especially in the summertime when it's blowing cold return air, or in the wintertime when it's blowing really hot return air, you're definitely going to run into issues, especially if it's pointed right at that cricket enclosure. You're going to run into problems. So 70 to 75 degrees, ideal target temperature for crickets. Reason number 2, overcrowding. So crickets, when they're kept in an overcrowded environment, it's going to cause a multitude of issues, but firstly that's going to lead to a big die-off, especially if you have too much crickets for the surface area you have. So one solution to this can be, depending on your what you're keeping them in, and like say if you're keeping a lot of crickets in a 10-gallon tank, definitely want to make sure you're providing lots of surface area, like with our egg crates here. And remember, you always want to have these stacked back to back like so. You never want to, or so to so like this way. That way you have some actual space between them. This is going to multiply your surface area tremendously, give you a lot more space. Remember, if crickets have nothing to climb on and get away from each other, they're just going to trample each other to death, and it's going to be no good. You're going to end up with dead crickets. The third reason your crickets are dying, humidity. So if you have overly wet conditions in your enclosure or in your cricket pen, you're definitely gonna have issues as well. Crickets prefer a dry environment. If you have excessive amount of moisture in there, be it from overfeeding fresh foods, overfeeding cricket gel products, you're gonna run into issues. And especially, I see this a lot when people use liquid water in their cricket pens. It's just no good. Number 1, it's a breeding ground for bacteria and other, just general filth. But number 2, crickets drown so easily. And if crickets get in that water and drown, it just becomes a festering mess. It's horrible. So stick to your gel products, limit the amount of, overly wet fresh foods that you're feeding. If you're doing vegetables and things like that as a supplement, stay away from like overly, moist like citrus and fruits and stuff. Sticks to the drier stuff, sweet potatoes, cut up potatoes and stuff, in addition to your cricket food and your gel water as a staple diet. Reason number 4 your crickets are dying is improper diet. So if you're feeding crickets the incorrect foods or foods in the incorrect amounts, you're gonna run into issues. I like to give my crickets generally an equal proportion of pre-made cricket chow and gel cricket drink. The reason I like the gel is, obviously, there's no risk of drowning. The second thing is, this is a lot easier to clean up, and if crickets jump in and out of it, it's a lot easier to clean. You don't have to worry about it. With the cricket food as well, it's very easily to precisely dose, and this is a comprehensive product that's going to provide a full range of gut-loaded nutrients for your reptile once the crickets consume it. So you can use other products, fresh food supplementally, but I recommend you stick with this stuff as the supplemental diet. You're gonna be a lot more successful in the long run. Some people, they try to feed them like scraps of vegetables and things like that exclusively, but then you're running into that issue of decaying plant matter in the tank, as well as just like excessive moisture. Remember, crickets like dry conditions, so that's no bueno. Reason number 5 your crickets are dying, cleanliness. So crickets, especially when they're kept in crowded conditions, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're keeping that container super clean. There's a couple reasons for this. So firstly, when the crickets are kept in close proximity to each other, if you have any crickets that die off, or you have an excessive amount of what's called frass, that's that insect exoskeleton material that they shed off, or when from crickets die, that's the stuff, the cricket poop in the bottom of the tank cage with the little wing fragments of the legs and stuff. You definitely want to keep on top of cleaning that. Reason being, that waste over time, and especially if a cricket dies, it actually produces an ammonia gas, and that will quickly kill your crickets. Remember, they like fresh air, high ventilation, but a stable temperature. So if you have a lot of frass and dead crickets in the bottom, that's gonna be absolutely not good. You need to keep your cricket container fresh at all times, especially if you're between fill-ups. I recommend anytime you come up to get crickets, give this thing a good washing with some wipeout disinfectant and some cleaning beforehand. Let it air dry completely. You're gonna be a lot more successful if you're putting your crickets into a clean environment. If you have any questions about keeping your crickets alive or having any issues you need to troubleshoot, be sure to drop us a line on our social media or stop in store. Have a great day.